Fellow niggas, black people, African Americans, and all the rest of the disenfranchised, darker complexioned people who live, dwell, take up residence, patronize, merchandise, or have any association with the United States. I told you pumpkinheads in the last video that our children are vilified by the news media before Baltimore went berserk. I told you that they are seen as a bunch of gremlins. This recent footage that you all witnessed in Baltimore is yet another prophetic claim that has come to pass. Now don't go praising me as your Messiah or bow before images of me just yet, because I'm not finished. In this follow-up, I'm going to show you all exactly why those youngsters that you saw in Baltimore, as well as the ones that you saw in Ferguson, Missouri before that, keep falling for the okie doke with the same news media that vilifies them.
Very much with the protesters. These young men are incredibly angry about everything happening.
Taking
Please.
him. Yeah, straight up. CNN, we here, straight up. Straight up.
You can see there is a lot of emotion running through the streets here.
As the rocks and bottles got thrown into store windows, many of those teenagers ran to the nearest reporter they could find and began making open threats to the police on camera for all of us to see, instead of doing what they attempted to do with the hoodies and masks that they were wearing all over their faces, which is keep a low profile. When the Crips and Bloods did their gang truce at the Baltimore church, it was the same news media that these kids had no problem talking to that took the opportunity to spread lies by saying that they were going to start aiming guns back at the police.
We know that the Baltimore police have issued this threat against law enforcement with these three gangs that Jeffrey Toobin talked about earlier, the Black Guerrilla family, Crips and Bloods. I've been speaking to officials who have prosecuted some of these gang members, and they say that it's extraordinary that these gangs are sort of uniting, coming together to target police.
Now, I already know that one of you old sourpuss females that just recently graduated due to the fact that the No Child Left Behind program you were a part of had to push you along in the school system to fill their quota are going to more than likely look at the title of this video and get beside yourself with the usual comments like, "He don't know what he talking about. Men do be making babies. My baby daddy put one in me." But you won't be getting the point of this magnificent video, because just like the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, Paul Bunyan, and other tall tales that seem to grow and get bigger as time lapses from one generation to the next, the urban myth that men make babies has taken on a life of its own. We used to hear our grandmothers, aunties, and other elderly women describe certain men in the family or in the community whose name may have been mentioned by an inquiring mind at some gathering. And they would say, "He ain't doing nothing but making babies out here."
Why don't you talk about it, honey?
Don't have to say a word. It's him. I know. Cut out on you, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Gone. Didn't say a word, just gone. Uh-huh, that's it.
They do it.
Dog. That's what mine did.
You know, black men are very flexible. Leave town on a moment's notice.
I don't even know where he is.
That's right. I made up my mind 6 months ago. It's just gonna be me and the children.
Wherever he is, I hope the good Lord kicks him in the head.
But alas, Big B Kale of Morale Link has searched high and low. I've pointed my flag in every direction, dusted the clues, and made the connection. And I'm back from the Raiders of the Lost Ark Temple of Doom mission to destroy this preposterous myth that men make babies. Now, if you happen to be a youngster of this modern era that is heavily involved in gang culture, and you have the fortune of seeing this video, I want you to pay close attention, because you probably think that you are the only one who has ever walked down the dark avenues and treacherous alleyways of life, just like most youth that don't realize people have already walked in your shoes before you. And since most of the suckers that are my age and older won't take the time to show you how you got to where you are today, I will.
I can show you how.
Now, the youth that you saw in Baltimore, as well as other youth that we have seen in recent years that are looting stores, flash mobbing, and acting a damn fool in public, have one thing in common. They want their behavior to be broadcasted and displayed for everyone to see.
Were people throwing things at the police?
Yeah, we was. They was.
What were people throwing at the police?
Like maybe bottles.
You were hitting them
bottles or maybe even this.
Okay, and you were throwing that at the police.
This not a bean bag. We throwing stuff like this at the police.
Long before Bloods and Crips were in Baltimore or other cities throughout America, they were still in Los Angeles, which is the mecca and birthplace of both gangs. I brought that information up because I want you to see a few clips from this old film. It's an old BBC documentary called Gang City, and this historic movie was filmed right before the 1984 Olympic Games. It was put together by a British filmmaker who interviewed several gang members throughout Los Angeles to get their take on the spike in violence that captured the city. And he was also using the film as fair warning to all foreigners who decided to attend the 1984 Olympic Games. Let's take a look, because this film is more than 30 years old, but you can easily see that things aren't much different than they are today.
The Chicano gangs are basically, the older gangs are deep-rooted. They're very territorially minded. They believe that they are warriors protecting that particular neighborhood from an outside gang coming into that gang. They consider themselves actual soldiers.
Every Sunday, while the pious are at Mass, the older members of the gang, the veteranos, meet in the local park. Ramona Gardens is the center for one of the largest drug networks in the city. PCP, or angel dust, a powerful hallucinogenic drug, is manufactured and marketed in the area. According to the police, the veteranos organize and protect the local narcotics industry. The Big Hazard has over 1,000 members spread across the city.
Who can come into the hazard area and who can't?
Different barrios can't come into our neighborhood. Barrios that
we don't get along can't come in.
Neighborhoods that we get along with.
Because if they come in, then we're going to get down. You know what I mean?
They have a sense for danger.
People who disrespect us can't come in. By what we mean by getting down is fist fight. Fighting. Whatever it takes, you know what I mean?
You know, all right here, we're all family, you know, and we respect each other, and we back each other up, you know? You know, we respect anybody who respects us. If they don't respect us, then they better watch out, you know?
I got a question, as serious as cancer. Who can keep the average dancer hyper as a heart attack? Nobody smiling.
Did you see any of those Mexicans laughing or joking during this interview? No. In fact, you couldn't find a single smile on any of their faces. And they were positioned around the leaders who spoke like military-trained Secret Service personnel. This backs up what Curtis Jackson, no relation to 50 Cent, says about the Chicanos, at least from a visual sense, because it is quite obvious that they want to be taken serious. Now let's see what this old sheriff's deputy had to say about black gang members.
Black gangs, they consider themselves gangsters.
Is there a heaven for a gangster? Gangster, gangster,
There are over 100 black street gangs.
See how these young black men are flossing at the gas station, wearing perms in their heads just like their mamas? Before the dawn of our single-parent-led society, how many fathers would allow their sons to walk around with perms and Aunt Jemima do-rags on their heads?
Like your mama.
They live south of the city in places like Compton, Linwood, and Watts, which blazed in the long hot summers of the 60s. According to the sheriff, the Santana block has the worst reputation for violence, although these days their numbers are down. 14 of them have been killed in the gangland wars.
wiping off the vehicle. Tanner. We just like a family. The Tanner gang is just like a family.
A veteran of many wars, Angelo Daniels.
I was over there on Willow Street, me and the homeboys, Turtle, and Rabbit, all of us was kicking over there on Willow Street over there by Fat Daddy house. And, let me see, we was fixing on the ride, and about 20 guys outside. Yeah, about 20 of us outside. Rules came from behind the house, shooting. And they two twins got shot. That's me and my brother, you know, twins at the same time, you know what I'm saying? They got me in the back and my brother in the nose. I rolled over on him, caught him over there by the tracks. I shot at him, and after I was rolling back towards the hood, the police swooped on me, and somebody up in working on the telephone pole seen us where I threw the gun at, and they snagged me with the gun, took me to jail. Captain Crab, Santana Blah.
See how they are kicking back with smiles on their faces, telling this white man all the dirt they've done in the streets, just like these youngsters that are bragging about the crimes they've committed on social media today. The main one that was talking even gave these white boys his name.
Slim with the tilted brim. What's your name?
Keithy Washington. All right, Keithy. Keithy Washington. All right, Keithy.
Everyone that comes to jail that is black, they might have never associated with gangs out in the streets, and all of a sudden, they're Crips. That's their main big gang, Crips. And they allow anybody into their gangs, whether they're snitches, whether they're weak, whether they're pressure cases.
Well, my mans in them know that I don't work with no police, right? And then the second thing is, y'all gotta realize this. This is the same thing they doing like they did back in the day with the BBP when they infiltrated with Edge Hoover and all them, man. They infiltrated the Panther Party. Y'all gotta know they doing the same to me right now. I'm not no snitch. I'm not no rat. Y'all gotta know I'm a real. I don't give about none of this TV, none of that, yo.
Everyone that comes to jail that is black, they might have never associated with gangs out in the streets, and all of a sudden, they're Crips. That's their main big gang, Crips. And they allow anybody into their gangs, whether they're snitches, whether they're weak, whether they're pressure cases, get stuff taken from them. They accept them, and that's a threat to them, but they don't realize that because...
So on the morning of April 12th, what happened?
Well, the morning of April 12th, I went in the basement store right here on Penn North Avenue to get a cigarette. You know what I mean? And they shut the store down. See, they helping us out, right? They shut the store down. I went to get a cigarette. I come out the store without the cigarette because I already smoked it. That's how they cool with it. They let me smoke the cigarette right there. So when I come out the store, they say, well, where the cigarette at? These are the police. They asked me where the cigarette at. So I'm telling them I already smoked it. So they get to checking me, right? So when they check me, all right, I ain't on the cigarette. So they ran me straight through, put me on the ground, hit me in my face. All my brothers right here to know, they seen it. Hit me in my face and all that, you feel what I'm saying? So when they put me in the van, I did not know nobody was in there. It's two sides of the van. I want y'all to realize two sides of the van. One side and there's the other side. 3 people can fit on one side, 3 people can fit on the other. It's no space in there where as though a man can hurt himself intentionally by himself. Before he got in that van, he was hurt. When he got in that van, he was already deteriorated. I know this for fact because when we got to that police station, he was dead.
They allow anybody into their gangs, whether they're snitches, whether they're weak, whether they're pressure cases, get stuff taken from them. They accept them, and that's a threat to them, but they don't realize that because
Santana Blah. With the left.
What do they charge you with?
Huh?
What do they charge you with?
45 assault. That's it.
What's 245?
Assault with a deadly weapon.
And did you get convicted or did you get off?
Dismissed it.
Why was it dismissed?
Not enough evidence. Evidence when they charged me with no witnesses. They didn't want to come and testify that I shot at them.
Why don't witnesses testify in court?
Why do? That's right, because they're scared of the Tanner. What's your lip?
Why should they be scared?
Now, did you see what the white man said to them? He asked all of these jokers in the middle of their hood, why should we be afraid of you? Go listen to it again.
Why should they be scared?
Huh?
Why should they be scared?
So we mean as a rattlesnake.
Now, I want all you youngsters that are gangbanging today to remember that, because these are some of the OGs that pioneered your gangs. The white boy asked them, why should we be afraid of you? After them fools just got done bragging about their criminal activity. 'Cause we mean as a rattlesnake. No, you ain't, you perm-headed mama's boy.
I shot at him, and as I was rolling back towards the hood, the police swooped on me, and somebody up in working on the telephone pole seen them where I threw the gun at, and they snagged me with the gun, took me to jail. Captain Kraft, Santana Blah. With the left.
What do they charge you with?
Huh?
What do they charge you with?
45 assault. That's it.
What's 245?
Assault with a deadly weapon.
And did you get convicted or did you get off?
Dismissed it.
Why was it dismissed?
Not enough evidence. Evidence when they charged me with no witnesses. They didn't want to come and testify that I shot at them.
Why don't witnesses testify in court?
Why do? That's right, because they're scared of the tanner.
Isn't that what you all do today? Tell everybody don't snitch, but then brag about some shit that's supposed to be on the low like a dumbass?
Teenagers in many cities scroll on city walls and work out their aggression on the nighttime streets. But here, the bravado is backed up by deadly weapons.
In those days, kids went to a rival neighborhood and spray-painted graffiti all over bridges, sidewalks, subway trains, and schools as a way to claim their rep. Today, you all go to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, and you brag and boast about how deep you are in the streets while you're on your mama's iPads.
Two barrels. Look at the barrel. Look at the barrel. This is a madman's gun. A double barrel. A madman's gun. A man that go kill with this is really mad. It will kill. This
you better watch out.
Is a M1 carbine, 32 rounds. I can go tear up Lewis Park with this. I can kill about 32 people if I hit them all.
Yes, indeed.
This is the same thing. I own 2 of these.
This exhibition may be alarming, but for thousands of young people in Los Angeles, weapons are now part of everyday life and death.
9mm.
Tell them what's a trait 8. Make them 8.
38 revolver. It really hurts.
Don't you see these clowns showing the white folks all their guns like a bunch of dummies, just like the airheads do today?
And seeing these photos.
Everybody, we right?
And see me laughing at that daddy.
We right. We ain't talking about sleep.
But I had to rub it talk I look for. I was on my mind.
You know what? Hey, I beat that big 3.
Keep your fight. I'm trying to bang you.
I had 6 of them in me. It hurts real bad.
Real bad.
That's why right now I issue it out.
My Lord.
Instead of receiving, I ships it.
Why do you need the weapons?
Because guys don't fight anymore. They don't use the. We used to fight, but they don't do that anymore. Guns. All about shooting, taking them out, taking them off the game.
Hey. You don't want to fight? Let's do it right.
And if you ever have to use them, a lot of time, many. But when another gang came, when they come to the home front, that's when we use them.
Yes.
And when they come shoot us, we go back and shoot them. Hey, look, hey, man, cut to the bruises. Battle scars. Battle scars, man. Shot, I got stabbed, shot, and all that other.
And obviously you've had some run-ins with the police. You're angry. Yeah, they just hit me with 3 beanbags. And when you were watching here, were people running around? I ran just now.
Let's see. Leland, does he have injuries? Let's see the injuries.
There's nothing I can do. Because can we see where the beanbags hit you? Oh wow! There you go, Megan. You put the light on. You put the light on. Yeah, we got the whole. A lot of viewers are seeing what's happened, and you're saying that's right there. And there's another beanbag round. And from the muscle.
The black gangs divide into 2 warring clans, the Crips and the Bloods or Pirus. The leader of the Santana Block Crips is 24, a drug peddler. He's been a gang member since he was 14. Kenneth Johnson, known as Turtle.
How I started, I had just moved to California, and I was going to Roosevelt Junior High School, and a lot of bloods used to come up to the school and run them everybody home. You know, and I used to wonder, you know, what's happening? What they running everybody home for? Well, it's skating rain, partner.
Once again, another one just gave up his name to the white man.
The leader of the Santana Block Crips is 24, a drug peddler. He's been a gang member since he was 14. Kenneth Johnson, known as Turtle.
And if you'll notice, he's wearing that creamy crack perm in his head.
Like your mama.
And flapping his gums to this white man, just like these women do on reality TV today. Now, I want you to listen some more as this young man tells you how he got started in the gang.
How I started, I had just moved to California, and I was going to Roosevelt Junior High School, and a lot of bloods used to come up to the school and run them everybody home. You know, and I used to wonder, you know, what's happening? What they running everybody home for? Well, it's skating rain, partner. So, you know, I used to wonder what they running for. What's Crip? What's Piru? So I go home. My buddies used to, you know, ask me what I'm doing coming from that way. You a Piru? I say, no, man. And I get stopped on the other side of the street. They ask me if I'm a Crip. And I say, no, I don't know what you're talking about. So I was in the, you know, in the blind. I didn't know what was what. Till a couple of guys told me, you know, Piru's over there, you know, Crips over here, you know. So I say, is that right? What's that? They say a gang, a street gang. You know, so me and my little brother, we didn't know, you know, we didn't know nothing. You know, we knew. So after a while, you know, we got to going along, you know, getting used to it. You know, so we started being in the street gang too. Crips. Crip. You know, I started knowing what the Crip was.
How does a guy get respect within the gang?
Well, it's like this. When I didn't have no big brothers, and you know, like I used to have a fight in school, and I used to have to run home because they go get their big brother on me. So I started saying, you know, I can't be running home. You know, because I get ran home, my mama make me fight. Because if I lose that fight, that means she gonna whoop my ass. So I had to win. That way, I wouldn't get two ass whoopings. Because if I get beat up, my mama gonna whoop my ass for losing the fight.
Did he say he could go to his mom for consoling or nurturing as one would expect of most mothers? No. He said his mama would kick his ass if he didn't beat up children he quarreled with. That is something that you would expect of a man or a big brother to tell a little brother. But this is a common occurrence in the black community.
Yell again, baby. I want that fuck nigga to anything. Nigga,
you better back it up.
Say, don't yell at nothing I supply for. You do a motherfucking thing for
You better back it up.
She can yell.
You better back it up.
She can yell.
You better back it up.
She can yell.
Unless a white man rolls up on your turf with a camera, which is why he feels comfortable talking to this British man about his criminal lifestyle, showing you that his black mother taught him to respond to other black men with violence, but be relaxed, reserved, and friendly with whites, which is why he has no problem chauffeuring this white man around. As I stated before, this documentary was created more than 30 years ago for the sole purpose of making foreigners aware that LA had a serious gang problem.
For the thousands of visitors who go through Los Angeles to the Olympic Coliseum, it'll mean traveling through gang territory. The police are worried that visitors to the games will wander innocently into the gangland battlefields. It would be an easy mistake to make. Outside the Olympic grandstand, a more vicious rivalry rages. The surrounding neighborhoods are divided among black and Chicano gangs who take their names from local streets or parks. The police say nearly half of the Los Angeles area is now gangland.
And BBC's correspondence with the LA Sheriff's Department landed most of the Negroes as well as the Latinos who openly participated in this film in jail. Take a look for yourself.
Since this film was made, Turtle of the Santana Block gang has been arrested and is now in jail for drug peddling.
One of those things.
And before one of you says, there's only one isolated incident, how you gonna say that the single mother caused this? I can say it because I have more evidence to drop on the examination table. Now, I would like to direct the jury to the next exhibit. And in this film, you will see a segment of a documentary that National Geographic put together about the history of the Bloods and Crips, in which Blood co-founder T. Rogers explains where the original nesting cove of the Bloods gang was.
1974, Baldwin Village. 16-year-old T. Rogers and his Black Pea Stone Bloods get together at his mother's house.
Everybody would come to my mom's house. My mom's house was the Kool-Aid house. And everybody would come over there and do their homework and dance, and the girls would tell their problems to my mother, and the boys would hang out, and we'd lift weights and box and throw the football around, you know, all the things that kids do.
Unless you have mysteriously gone deaf, I'm quite sure y'all heard that. Mom's house was the Kool-Aid house. It was the place where all his fellow gangbangers would spar with one another and practice boxing, lifting weights out in the yard, and she provided backwards counseling sessions to teenage girls, helping them to become strong and independent, just like her. Now, ask yourself a question. How many men would allow their boys to use their home as a gang safe haven? You won't find too many. Because all the men I knew growing up would tell you quick, since you got enough energy to slap box, lift weights, and shoot hoops in the driveway, you and your friends can cut the grass, rake leaves, and prune these bushes. This is what John Singleton tried to tell you all in the movie Boys in the Hood in the early 1990s. Before any drug addict or alcoholic can get clean, they must admit that they have a problem. But black man, you refuse to admit that the single mother and those who defend their actions are the prime source of your problem today. I've been telling y'all this online for more than a decade myself, because long before YouTube, I was writing blogs on MySpace, starting as early as 2003. This video that you're currently watching demonstrates that the modern black woman serves as a juvenile facilitator who allows you to remain a child that expresses baby-like behavior long before you are ever incarcerated, just like the mother on Boys in the Hood.
Oh,
damn. Oh man, looks like they're going to juvie. Nah, man, they going to the gates.
Come on, man, what happened? It was still.
Someday, yeah, we'll walk in the rays of a beautiful sun. Someday, when the world is much brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna be easier. Ooh, child, things will be brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna be easier.
Dr. Francis Cress Welsing called it correctly, black man. You are a baby living in the body of an adult. This is why you are completely confrontational with other black men.
Hey, you a punk, man. Hey, yo, wait a minute. Wait a minute, hey.
Man, it's family business.
Wait a minute, hey, yo, what's your problem, man? Y'all are brothers. You ain't supposed to be fighting each other. Been a punk
Come on, Trey, let him fight.
Get off Mama's boy.
Get him, Joe. Slam. Get him, Joe. Hey, Joe. Let him fight.
Brenda, if we can't double, I can fight. Hey,
Get him,
hey,
Joe. Get him.
cut that out. Get off of him. Get off of him.
What you hit me for?
You all right? Let me see your
Yeah, I'm all right.
Let me see your
I'm
face.
all right.
I swear, if that motherfucker roll up on the on the set one more time, I'm gonna blast his ass.
Suddenly, a slow-moving car approaches the house. The drive-by is born.
After the drive-by, we had roll call, and everybody called out their name. One name didn't get called out. There was a murmur.
A 14-year-old Black P. Stone has been hit in the head.
He's laying in between the car and the gutter, in between the car and the curb. And I bent down and I rested his head on my lap. The brain matter fell between my fingers. And I had to go to his sister and his little brother and his mother. And I got to go back and say, he got killed hanging out with me. Who the am I?
But you can't wait to throw yourself before white men that give you the opportunity to get 5 minutes of attention.
Like your mama.
But my mans in them know that I don't work with no police, right? And then the second thing is, y'all gotta realize this. This is the same thing they doing like they did back in the day with the BBP when they infiltrated with Edge Hoover and all them, man. They infiltrated the Panther Party. Y'all gotta know they doing the same to me right now. I'm not no snitch. I'm not no rat. Y'all gotta know I'm a real. I don't give about none of this TV, none of that, yo.
And just like on Boys in the Hood, when Doughboy and Trey brought Ricky's lifeless body home, Doughboy's mother blamed it all on him. Just like that mammy mayor of Baltimore did when she called you a thug after telling you that you had been provided a space so you could tear some shit up.
I've made it very clear that I worked with the police and instructed them to do everything that they could to make sure that the protesters were able to exercise their right to free speech. It's a very delicate balancing act, because while we tried to make sure that they were protected from the cars and the other things that were going on, we also gave those who wished to destroy space to do that as well. What we see tonight that is going on in our city is very disturbing. It is very clear there is a difference between what we saw over the past week with the peaceful protests, those who wish to seek justice, those who wish to be heard and want answers, and the difference between those protests and the thugs who only want to incite violence and destroy our city. I'm a lifelong resident of Baltimore, and too many people have spent generations building up this city for it to be destroyed by thugs.
Her actions were no different than some dumb high school girl that throws a party while her parents are out of town and invites nothing but hoodlums and troublemakers.
And nothing seems to be going right.
Look, Damon, I don't want you coming if you're gonna start some trouble.
Oh, girl, what you talking about?
I don't give me that. You always breaking up parties, fighting something. You ain't gonna break up this one.
Look, I come here to have a good time like everybody else. Here, take this quarter.
Well, I ain't playing with you, Damon.
Man, don't nobody put their hands on my old lady.
Come on, David, I'm sorry. Let's go.
You better get out of my way. I'm kicking his ass. Hey, look, man, I apologize. That's as far as it goes.
It ain't gonna be no fighting in here. If you want to fight, you take it outside.
Hey, cool it, mama. Come on now.
Cooling my ass. They ain't fighting in my house. Any fighting. This is my last party.
You gonna take this ass kicking chump.
You want to fight, you take it outside.
Wait a minute.
Right.
Black man, these are the sort of women You keep electing to run your homes, your churches, your civic associations, and your schools.
And I am in control today. I am the mayor of the city of Kenlock.
Betty McRae ran for mayor in the April 7th election and won.
I won. The people spoke. I was sworn in by the St. Louis County. Today, I take office. I want them out.
The real baby mamas of rich money, and we're here to say you can love us or hate us, baby, but we're on our way. Everywhere you go, no matter who you see, you wish you had a real baby mama like me. Every Monday night we're on your TV. You wish you was a real baby mama like me.
Two Henderson County Sheriff's deputies who'd been standing by in case of trouble rushed to that door, trying to stop the pushing and shoving that started over the vote. People were knocked to the ground and stepped on. Then the violence moved to the parking lot. At the height of the brawl, more than 20 sheriff's deputies and Fletcher police had responded to the scene. Breaking up so much fighting.
These people are not of God if you come in here to fight. Don't you understand? This is God's house. And they don't understand. This is God's house for dollars to go on in God's house. It's so wrong.
As students came to school this morning, so did some of their parents, asking what's going on at Howard University Middle School and why are so many teachers quitting or getting fired in the middle of the school year.
As parents, we just want to get some answers. We deserve to know what's going on.
After all three of the school's social studies teachers gave their 2 weeks notice last week, parents say that the new principal, Angelique Blackman, confronted all three with pink slips yesterday in front of students.
While students are still present in the classroom. How unprofessional. But these children are crying. They said they couldn't say goodbye. The teachers are upset. The students are upset.
They were giving to them in front of our children. And I think that our children do not deserve to see that type of behavior.
Howard Middle is a math and science public charter school on the campus of Howard University. Some parents describe the principal, who came from Atlanta, as abrasive.
The school administration does not want the social studies teachers to teach African American history. We are on the campus of HBCU. We need to know our culture. The school is 90% African American.
And like a fool, you keep falling for the bait that this white man has given her to trap you, black man.
Inmate Tavon White, a leader of the Black Guerrilla family gang, was heard on a wiretap in January staking his claim. "This is my jail," he said. "I'm dead serious. I make every final call in this jail. Everything come to me. I am the law. My word is the law." White claims to make a nice profit, according to the indictment, selling smuggled drugs and phones. "My profit was $15,800 and something, or $16,800, $16,400, something. That ain't bad for a whole month."
This case is insidious. This case is extremely serious.
13 female corrections officers are accused of smuggling banned items into the jails in return for money and sex. Corrections officer Kimberly Dennis on a wiretap. "There are some things I need to get done. My goal for this week is $2,000. I don't know where it's going to come from, but I'm going to make it happen."
We need to be able to rely on people who are in law enforcement and associated with law enforcement to make sure that they're on our side and not the criminal side, and that's the most significant thing I think this case exposed.
Sex was so prevalent inside the jails that BGF leader Tavon White fathered children with 4 different female officers. 2 had his name tattooed on their bodies. Corrections officer Jennifer Owens was heard to say, "I understand you're stressed out because you're locked up, but I am too. You locked up and I'm pregnant again. Who does that?" Officers could be fired for associating with inmates, but the women in this case are still employed. Were these women fired?
Pardon?
Were these women fired? The ones who are...
No.
They're in your institution having sex with the inmates.
Right.
Were they fired?
No.
And you're going to keep falling for the same bloodworm he puts on his line every time. Because the white man knows that you are still a baby who still doesn't realize that men don't make babies. Only women do. Men make men.